Okay, so it's Andrew Smith, Atinder Mavi, Manbir Adawal, and Mohammed Javed. All right. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
So, gentlemen and lady, we're doing the Loblaws Companies Limited, and I myself am Manbir. This is Mohammed. This is Atinder and Andrew. And Atinder's gonna start us off.
So the company background. It is the largest food retailer in Canada. It was started by Theodore Pringle Loblaw and Justin Cook in 1919. It owns many corporate name banners such as Atlantic, Superstore, Extra Foods, Loblaws Great Food. It also operates under the names of Atlantic, Save Easy, Extra Foods, No Frills, and others. Next is goals and products of Loblaws. The main goal of Loblaw is to be the best retailer in home, health, and food products in Canada by making innovative products at lower prices. They have a large variety of products at Loblaws, affiliated stores, such as groceries, dairy, household, bakery, alcoholic beverages, and more. President Choice is exclusively sold at Loblaw's affiliated stores. Here is the summary of financial position of Loblaws. Sales increased by 3.1% in 2010 as compared to 2009. Gross profit also increased by 106 million between the 2 years. Return on assets was 12% in 2010 and 11% in 2009. Loblaws has a solid return on shareholders' equity, which was 11.2% in 2010. Through this, we can say that Loblaws is in a good financial position right now. And the next is external analysis.
Well, in external analysis, we actually covered the 4 major analysis. One is customer analysis, competitor analysis, sub-market analysis, and environmental analysis. For customer analysis, actually, the customer they actually target is they include 4 types of people. So one is all right. The first one is a woman in a large household. The second one is people with an income between $25,000 to $60,000. And the third one is people with the age of between 30 to 65. Most of their customers are actually very loyal to them, and 20% of their customers contribute to 80% of their income. And they actually come to the store not because of low prices, they feel the relationship with the company. And competitor analysis. Here's a few of their competitor, which is pretty much the same or the bigger than that. Sobeys, Metro, and Safefood are the main competitor, and Walmart and Costco are a kind of big one, but still they use the same model for business. And sub-market analysis. Actually, Loblaw is trying to go in the mobile shop businesses within their locations. Before they had kiosks, which is not owned by them, it's privately owned. Now they're going to go actually open up their own shops. And the other one is the restaurant. They are trying to open, actually they already have in few locations, the small restaurants. They are offering pretty healthy and exotic food. And since Walmart failed to do it, so they're going to jump in that business as well. Environmental analysis. Since the whole world is going through the recession, their management team is trying to keep up with actually looking for any upcoming recession, and try to address all those events before they come and affect the company. And information technology, they are trying to keep up with the technology and using the latest point of sale system, and they are trying to integrate their inventory with their vendors as well, just to save some money on inventory and make better decisions.
Okay. So So I'll take you through the internal analysis now. As we've been taught, any business needs an effective mission and vision upon which to build its structure. Loblaws in 2004, as our facilitator will probably know, President John Lederer announced his intention was to become the low-price leader in all of its markets. This kind of stuck Loblaws at a bit of a crossroads because this was a major divergence from their strategy of differentiation, or focus or niche differentiation, and now trying to go into broad cost leadership. As we'll see through the analysis, it seems they've kind of been caught in between, and that adds for a greater degree of complexity. Now, in terms of corporate strategy, so there's the mission and vision of the company to become the low-cost leader, right? Now, Loblaws utilizes the strategic business unit form of the multi-divisional structure. This is usually used with a related link strategy or corporate strategy, but as you'll see, there's a little bit of a mismatch because the firm actually uses a cooperative form, the firm uses a related constrained strategy, which is not normally meshed with the strategic business unit form of multi-divisional structure. It's usually used with a cooperative form. So for corporate structure and corporate strategy, there's a mismatch this way, and believe it or not, even at that high level, this causes all kinds of problems down through the chain. What it does is it now has them on both cost leadership and differentiation. So the value chain, which is composed of 9 points, right? There's the 4 support activities and the 5 primary activities of the value chain. When approaching it from 2 points, now it gives you 18 different points. It becomes extremely complex to manage all of those, and they've ran into some difficulties in that area. Now, in terms of the business unit level strategy, that has evolved, as we said. It's now an integrated cost leadership differentiation strategy, and that's employed throughout the firm's strategic business units. Unless someone has other information, please feel free to let us know. This necessitates effectiveness in every area of the value chain. There can't be any weaknesses with this degree of complexity. Okay? Now, in terms of general strategy, in a preemptive move designed to defend against Walmart's incursions into North America, there was a decision to invest in what has now become the Great Canadian Superstore program, right? It was introduced in 2004. Initially, as many operations are, it was plagued with operational and logistic failures that became quite expensive. And it brought the firm into increased direct competition with Walmart. Now, at this particular moment, Walmart's competencies in procurement, logistics, and inventory management were becoming the stuff of legend at the time this newcomer was trying to take them out. A serious, serious strategic mistake. They should have disengaged before it ever reached that point. Now, the firm, also in terms of general strategy, the firm has done some restructuring through divestiture of non-profitable units. Again, the decision to meet force with force, against Walmart, and in the face of competitive pressures that were kind of unparalleled, are going to be seen to be a long-term mistake. Now, in hindsight, and finally, there was the problem that by going to price leadership, that they would create a price war, which shareholders had no interest in. When Galen Jr. first announced that they would attempt to be cost leaders, the stock price lost about 0.5%, so 0.06 on that very same day. So the stakeholders did not have an appetite for that. Selected measures. Stock market measures clearly show that the company is in decline. The share price through 2009, beginning in the 4th quarter of 2005, has dropped to just slightly above half of its all-time high, which was 72 bucks. It's currently sitting at around 37, not much yesterday, actually. Now, it's not all bad news for Loblaws, of course. Assets and capabilities, number 1, they are the market share leader. Number 2, they have a high level of brand equity with the Canadian public. Number 3, their position within George Weston Limited, huge company, gives them significant market power. And number 4, the firm has an unusually high value of fixed assets. That is, that it owns most of the land that its buildings are built upon. That's an unusual characteristic for this business. Key success factors. Fresh quality food, especially produce, is the cornerstone of success in the grocery business in Southern Ontario and Canada as a whole. Any variance in quality outside the customer's latitude of acceptance gets great press and it can be potentially fatal. Number two I'll go through the other key success factors. Number two, a wide range of offerings. Number three, efficient and courteous customer service. And number four, various convenience features that are becoming very, very popular to people who are looking for different ways to do their shopping, in particular e-commerce. Walmart is gaining an advantage in this area, and that has to be addressed. Now, in terms of core competencies, new product line development has been a great source of strategic competitive advantage for Loblaw. They've done a great job in the past, particularly with the no-name brands and President's Choice. Those private label brands were and they continue to be very well managed, well received, and well targeted. Loblaw continues to market aggressively, and the firm is well advised to continue trying to capitalize on its intimate relationship with the Canadian public and the Canadian marketplace. Now, on strategic analysis, you're just one ahead of me, guys. That's okay. Just go back one. Yeah. Within the strategic analysis for Loblaw, we are going to evaluate the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and Manbir is going to take us through that piece right now. Thank you.
All right, so one of Loblaw's main strengths as a company is that they're one of Canada's largest food retailers. They currently have 34.9% of the Canadian market share when it comes to the Canadian grocery industry. And also they provide a large variety of products and services throughout over 50 store banners such as Zehrs and Fortinos. So for instance, like Zehrs and Fortinos are considered more high-end grocery stores in which they offer services such as fresh cuts meats, fresh delis, very fresh produce. They also offer services, vegetable trays, and even in the real Canadian superstores, they now have recreational rooms that you can rent or you can take your cooking classes in. And even if customers aren't in for those kind of high-end type stores, they can also shop at a store such as No Frills, for instance, in which you're not really paying for like those nice fancy store interior designs. You're just paying for something basic. You still have all your basic groceries in. And also another thing is they have a lot of famous in-house brands: President's Choice, Joe Fresh, No Name. Throughout the years, become very popular and trusted amongst Canadians. And also the fact that Loblaw is a Canadian brand, it's going to encourage customers to shop for a Canadian company rather than shop at a foreign competitor such as Walmart. And then for the company's weaknesses, just want to stress that the high price in certain store chains, for instance in Zehrs and Fortinos, there's a lot of markup for these fresh meats and produce, and therefore it comes at a hefty price for people, especially where your budget is and what you want to spend. And also the distribution and promotion of general merchandise and appliances, particularly for Fortinos and Royal Canadians, and for Real Canadian Superstores, my apologies. They've had a lot of issues with logistics and inventories over the years. They've always had merchandise from suppliers that were refused. I can speak this for experience myself. I worked at Fortinos, Loblaw's own store for 4 years. We always have problems with orders not coming through. We'd have to blow out merchandise, and we end up losing a lot of money on that. And it's because the inventory counts were never up to date. There's always a lot of holes in the product, a lot of holes in the shelves. And then for opportunities, I just want to talk about how Loblaw is in the past 10 to 15 years, they've gone into the financial sector, especially with PC Financial. They have an opportunity to compete with big banks such as TD, CIBC, BMO. They already have a big demand for their online banking services, but in the future, this could potentially allow them to, if they ever have the aggregate demand to create in-store bank pavilions or non-pavilions, like actual branches, they could go into these Real Canadian Superstores and have actual PC branches. And also another thing is they've all started competing in the fashion industry as well. Joe Fresh has already been poised to become a major player in the fashion industry. They already have stores opened in Toronto and New York. So in the next 5 to 10 years, even in a short time frame, in the next 3 to 5 years, you will see them go into areas such as London and other European markets and really try to compete on in a global sense in the fashion industry. And also one thing is, as Andrew touched on before, e-commerce and online shopping, I feel that there's a big untapped market for online shopping when it comes to the grocery industry. And unless, if Loblaw does not jump on that, a company like Walmart or even one of their local, even like Metro or so is going to jump on that opportunity. Excuse me. So just to go over some of the threats for Loblaws, one that we've talked about is quite known is Walmart. And the fact that in the last few years they've been entering the grocery sector and they've begun to implement their own superstores in which they offer everything from groceries to electronics to everyday household appliances. And also the price, and also for the price of these home appliances such as electronics. For instance, Real Canadian Superstore, they do have the general merchandise section where they do sell electronics, but they're not quite put the emphasis on marketing those products. And for example, and they tend to be higher than going to Walmart to buy a TV. It's because there's a lot higher markup because they don't specialize in that field, whereas they're focusing more on groceries while they're selling these appliances. And also there's also the threat of other market chains trying to get competitive advantage, such as Metro and Sobeys. So I'll hand it back to Andrew.
Okay. So in terms of recommendations, it was difficult to come down to just 2 or 3 areas. Sorry, guys. So we have a short-term and a long-term action plan that has a little bit more of the pieces kind of spelled out. Number one, the firm's got to use better use of terms regarding receivables and payables. The accounting measures indicate that their accounts payables are not in good order and they have not been taking advantage of bulk terms. Also, there's a need to create a joint consultation committee comprised of key staff members and key members of management to discuss issues of joint concern. With any company that's taken positions and reduced wages and moved people around, it's very important to assess the shockwaves through the organization caused by that, and not just to assume that all these folks are good with it, because odds are they are not. Okay, so the Joint Consultation Committee will handle everything outside of collective bargaining and health and safety. The committee has no teeth per se, and because of that often people feel comfortable speaking in that forum, and as a result they actually get quite a number of things done. To improve technological integration and functionality in order to reduce unnecessary stress on the supply chain. When Loblaws first started really experiencing its profound inventory problems, they came up with some kind of knee-jerk response to fine suppliers for not having merchandise delivered there on time, when in fact the stuff was sitting in their own parking lot. So not only did they create frustration, but they created expense in the supply chain, which quite frankly takes away the supply chain's ability to serve the firm effectively, right? It's not a zero-sum game, it's a cooperation effort. Now, they need to reassess the strategy behind the Canadian Superstore. That may not be the business that Loblaws is intended to be in. They need to offer increased wages and signing bonuses to replenish needed staff levels in purchasing. They took a big hit in procurement when they moved from Calgary to Brampton. Only half of the people moved over, and this was happening right around the time that they started to experience some of the more profound problems that the company has. And connected to that, they need to completely renovate the firm's inbound logistics and supply chain management. We need to refocus the firm's goals and mission, reanalyze the firm's target segmentation processes, and the results of those processes as well. The firm's effort to improve and repair supply chain functions and systems must be exhaustive, and it should start basically yesterday. Long-term action plan. Thank you. We need to allow staff in unionized operations to reduce by attrition and invest in building up staff management relations in the non-unionized operations. We need to develop a customized just-in-time inventory management system and explore e-commerce and e-customer relationship management initiatives. We need to explore vendor-managed inventory systems and to refine customer servicing procedures. In the long term, we need to divest of the Great Canadian Superstore. And finally, if there is no divestiture in contingency, That strategic business unit will require a clear mission and vision, because right now they're defining themselves in terms of their opposition or their adversary. And when you do that, you become reactionary, you're no longer proactive, and you're basically having someone else's will imposed upon you instead of the other way around. That's the end of the long-term action plan. If there's any questions, we'd be glad to get you the answers.
Good job.